Hello friends, a warm welcome from Aussie's group. My name is Malcolm and I'm your PT coach, and I'm back again with another live session on one of the main modules in PT, which is the speaking section. So friends, as all of you know, and as most of you would know by mistake, speaking is the first module in PT. The test in PT starts with speaking, and there are a total of 5 tasks in the speaking module. The total time for the speaking section generally comes to around 30 minutes, sometimes around 35 minutes, because as per the PT guideline, speaking and writing, which are module numbers 1 and 2, come back to back. And you always get a combined timer for speaking and writing both. And the combined timer is generally around 77 to 93 minutes. And as I said, the total tasks are 5 in speaking. The total questions are generally around 35 to 42. So most probably you can expect around 40 questions in speaking, and the software expects us to finish speaking in roughly around 30 minutes. So that's how it is in the speaking part. Now, as many of you would know, even before the speaking section starts, you are supposed to give a personal introduction. Now, to remind all of you friends that the introduction is not scored. It's just so that we can, make ourselves comfortable before we start the test. So I would suggest you to keep it simple and short when it comes to the introduction. Like, hello, my name is Malcolm. I'm from Melbourne. I'm taking PT to improve my English. I hope my test goes well. That's it. All right. I mean, if you want to give some extra information, you may give extra information, like what you're doing, what's your background. But as I said, it's not required, to be very honest with all of you, because it's just a personal introduction. So nothing more, nothing less. So keep it as simple and short as possible. The other thing is that before listening starts, you get enough chances to set the mic position and to set the mic volume. So before the test starts, there's a sentence on the screen which is generally called the mic test sentence, and there's a small volume button just next to that sentence. Now generally the volume button is in the center on your screen. It's going to be just right at 50% level. Now for many it might be more than enough, for some it might not be more than enough. So what I recommend generally is to increase the volume a bit. So before you start the exam, I would just suggest you to increase a bit to maybe around 75-80% levels. I think that would be perfect for most of the test takers. The other thing is the position of the mic. So most of the test centers have a mic which has a long handle. Now, since it's a long handle, generally it's approximately like this much distance from the lips. From the mouth, it's around 4 fingers distance. That's the length of the tip of the mic. Now, according to me, this can be a bit far for some test takers. So my suggestion is that the end of the mic, it can be moved a bit, So what I suggest is the tip of the mic, just tilt it a bit towards your mouth, from 4 fingers. Just reduce the distance to a bit closer to your mouth, because then you will not have to be very loud and the clarity should definitely improve. Because as I said, you'll be increasing the volume once and you'll also be bringing the mic tip a bit closer to your mouth. If you do this, most of your pronunciation will be very clear and you will not have to shout at the top of your voice. So that will definitely help you in getting a better clarity, and better clarity is always a good pronunciation score. That's always helpful in the reading task scores and in the listening task scores. It's because speaking is linked to reading and listening. So that's about the mic position and the volume. Hope everything is very clear the way I said it. Now let's go to the main thing. In speaking, out of 5 tasks, the first task is called read aloud. The second is called repeat sentence. The third is called describe image. The fourth is called retell lecture. And the fifth is called answer short question. So these are the 5 tasks in speaking. I'll repeat again the sequence, and it's always in this sequence. First is read aloud. Second is repeat sentence. Third is describe image. Fourth is retell lecture. Fifth is answer short question. Now in these tasks, the first task is a very important one, which is read aloud. Since you'll be reading a passage on your screen, you also have to read and speak, which means it is integrated. And whenever a task is integrated, the second thing is very, very important. And that's why you need to be good at this task to get a good score in speaking and reading. Remember, read aloud. To read aloud, you need to read what is on the screen. Now in this task, one of the worst mistakes anybody makes is generally correcting themselves, a bit of fumbling, a bit of hesitation. And if these things happen, then definitely we cannot get a good score. That's a fact. So what I generally recommend is that even if you make a mistake in the task of read aloud, best is don't stop, don't fumble, just go with the flow. So just keep on speaking at your normal pace. If you correct yourself, then it's going to be a big problem in getting the desired score. Now I got a comment from Mirza Beg. He's written, "Hi Malcolm." So hi Mirza, good to see you over here. You can type in your comment and I'll try my best to answer your question. Thanks. Well, as I was talking about read aloud, one of the major things which we should be very careful about is that don't fumble, don't hesitate, and just speak with a lot of confidence, all right? Well, Ronak Patel has another comment that in read aloud, speaking is okay, but reading is more problem than speaking. Yeah, that's right. Reading is a problem. That's why you get marks in reading and speaking both, Ronak. And that's why you need to be extra careful. All right, so I'm just talking about what is important, what is not important. Just listen carefully. It will be very helpful to you. And we've got two more people joining in. Shweta writes, "Hi sir," and Prakash Ghelani also writes, "Hi." So hi to Prakash and Shweta. Thanks for typing in your comments. Good to see you both over here. Thank you. Well, as I was saying, the other thing in read aloud is, one of the suggestions I generally give to the students is that, the passage is right on your screen and you get pens to take notes before the test starts. So what you can do, you can take that pen and you can just move your pen on the screen of the computer. So that way, your eyes, your tongue, your vision, everything will be in sync together, your brain more importantly. And because sometimes the problem is our mind is too fast or our tongue is too fast, basically, or our eyes are not in sync with our tongue. So all these things need to be in sync. And that's why it's very important that we are not too slow or we are not too fast, because we need to speak at the right speed. We also need to take the correct pauses. If we don't speak at the right speed or take the wrong pauses, then the score definitely goes down. So need to be very careful about that as well. Well, Roshni Mistry has a comment. "If we do not know the pronunciation, should we fake it out?" Yeah, that's the best you can do, Roshni, because if you're not sure about the pronunciation and if you make the wrong sound, then obviously the reading score can go down. So instead of that, you try to mimic, not fake it out, but you try to mimic the pronunciation of that word to the best of your ability. That's the best way to deal with such tasks. Well, Shweta has a comment. "While RA, my speaking is not clear. How can I improve?" And Edeneji Ediola has also a comment. "Hi boss, please talk on pace and pitch." Well, the pace should not be too slow, neither should it be too fast. Generally, this is the right speed of speaking. The way I'm speaking right now, it's very clear. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. So ideally, this should be the correct speed of speaking. Also about the pitch. Mainly by pitch, what we mean is, stressing on the words. Now, sometimes people have a very hard voice, people have a very thick voice. I should say thick, not hard. I should say a thick voice. Like this voice is really thick right now. And sometimes the voice is a bit shrill, Shrill voice is sweet and soft to the ears. So it depends what type of voice we have. Now, generally, I recommend that keep your voice very normal, If you're very normal with your volume, the pitch has to be flat like this, which means you should not stress too much on the words and try not to, stretch the words as well. Because read aloud, if you're not clear, then again, the score in reading goes down very quickly. So that's about it in read aloud. Also, it's very important that we take the correct pauses. Unfortunately, I've come across so many people in my life, who are very, very fast in read aloud. I don't know why people are so fast in read aloud. Everybody thinks that if they're very fast, they get 90. No, it's not like that. You have to speak at the right speed. If the software doesn't understand what you're speaking, how will the software give you a good score in reading? You might get a 90 in speaking, but obviously reading will not be a good score. So please be clear about one thing, that you are not supposed to speak as fast as you can. Yeah, you can't be too slow, but speak at the correct speed. Second thing, always take the correct pauses. There should not be extra pauses, and we need to take the pauses which are required, which are mandatory. If you don't take the correct pauses, then again the score goes down. If you take a lot of pauses which are unnecessary, again the score goes down. So need to be a bit careful about the pauses which we are taking. And generally, as soon as you finish any answer, please click next as soon as you're done. Don't wait for the blue bar to reach the end, because if you don't speak, the software detects silence, and silence is not good for the score. So fluency goes down and everything goes down. So please remember to click next immediately in all the tasks, especially read aloud. Now, Coming to the next task, which is again an integrated task. And I've got two questions about the next task, which is repeat sentence. The first comment is by Renuka. Well, the comment is that, can we take notes while repeat sentence and retell lecture? And the second comment is by Prakash Ghelani. Prakash asks, what is the best strategy for repeat sentence? Please advise. Well, first things first, the first question is, can we take notes in repeat sentence? So the answer is yes, definitely you can take notes. Nobody's going to stop us from taking notes. But remember that note taking is a bit risky, because if you take notes, then obviously your attention will be divided in, taking notes, looking at the sheet, hearing to the intonation of the sounds. So basically the brain's attention is divided into a lot of things, and that's why note taking is a bit risky. But having said that, people are actually good at note taking. So it depends on a lot of practice, Sometimes even after a lot of practice, the sentence can be very lengthy in the real exam. And very lengthy sentences, even if you take notes, they are not that helpful, So it has its pros and cons. The other thing is that noting the sentences, it does not help with the initials, Noting the initials doesn't help with singulars and plurals. That's what I was trying to say. For example, if you write TTT, so you might forget what that T stands for. That's one more problem. And second thing, whether that T is singular or plural word, even that's a bit tricky. So these are the problems with note taking. That's why, according to me, note taking can be done, but it can be really risky during a real exam. So if you're very sure and if you're very confident and you've practiced enough, then please do take notes. Otherwise, don't take notes. Very simple. Well, Roshni has a comment. When I attempt repeat sentence, I remember starting 5 to 6 words, and sometimes I forget and I will be confused. Well, I agree with you, Roshni. It's a very common problem. It's because our brain is not used to doing that, So what I suggest, on the day of the exam, before the test is going to start, just practice repeat sentence very quickly. So practice at least, I would suggest 30 questions of repeat sentence in just 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 questions. 1 minute, 3 questions, because that is going to happen exactly the same way in the real exam as well. Your brain will get used to it. Second thing, whenever you're practicing repeat sentence, never check the answers, just go with the flow. Here, repeat, here, repeat, here, repeat, here, repeat. Just do the same thing for 30 times in a row. Don't care whether you're right or wrong, just go with the flow. Initially you'll find out that yes, maybe you're not speaking the right way, but it's a bit demotivating sometimes, but just keep on going. Don't stop, don't check your answers. And you need to do the same thing in the actual test also. So if you want, you can just note down few initials at the end of the sentence, but in the beginning, I would suggest don't take notes. Maybe 1 or 2 words you may note it down if that's going to help you, but as I said, it can be counterproductive. So just be careful if you're going to take chances of taking notes. Okay. Well, I've got a comment from Sachi. Hi sir, I received my desired score last Friday. I watched all your videos and your teaching helped me a lot, and thank you very much. So thank you very much, Sachi. Very kind of you to comment it. Many times people get the scores, but we never find out because people don't comment. So thank you so much, and many congratulations on getting your desired score. I hope whatever you're looking out for, your PR or your TR or whatever it is, your student visa, I hope you get it very soon. So many congratulations. Keep in touch. Thank you. Well, Shweta has another comment. How many lengthy repeat sentences we might get in the test? Well, Shweta, the answer is not fixed. It changes, but if I were you, I will expect always the worst. And the worst is mentally be ready for all the sentences to be very lengthy. But yeah, saying that, generally at least 3 sentences could be lengthy. And by lengthy, I mean around, 12 to 15 words. That's what I mean by a lengthy sentence. Generally, that's what everybody calls lengthy. But, so yeah, realistically speaking, at least 3 or 4 questions could be lengthy. Thanks. Well, Renuka has a comment again. It's hard to write the sentence initials because they are hard sometimes. Yeah, you are absolutely right. It is hard. That's what I'm saying. But nobody told us that the test is going to be easy, right? It is supposed to be a bit hard. If everything is easy, then everybody will get 90 each. And everybody cannot get 90 each, It requires practice. So train your mind for very hard sentences, for very lengthy sentences. The more you practice, the more your brain gets used to it, So that's the best way to prepare. Bulk practice, fast bulk practice. 10 minutes, 30 questions. Take a break. Again, 10 minutes, 30 questions. Do this 3 times a day, 30 minutes you invest a day smartly. You practice around 90 to 100 questions quickly, and that's more than enough. 30 minutes, 90 questions. You can imagine how quickly you're going to improve. You'll just need 1 week to improve your level from year to year, from year to year. But the main thing is practice. You just need to keep on doing it continuously, day in, day out. Don't take a break in the schedule. Just follow it. Well, Sapna has a comment. Is it fine to have some 2 seconds pause before repeating the sentence and repeat sentence section? Will this affect fluency? Good question, Sapna. Well, actually, after the actual sentence will end, ideally we should start our answer when the blue bar moves. That's the best position during which we should start our answer. So between these two times, the sentence ending and the actual recording starting, you actually have 2 seconds approximately. And once the bar moves, I would recommend to start as soon as you can. Yes, if the software detects silence, it might think that you're not fluent. It might think that you're not speaking. So yeah, why take a chance? So as soon as you see the bar on your screen, start speaking immediately. I think that's the best time we should start speaking. Definitely that should be the best time. You see the bar, you start speaking. Not before that, not after that. You see it, you start. Okay, Renuka has another comment. In read aloud, can we take pause on every full stop? Yes, the answer is definitely yes. The question should not be can you take a pause? The question should be should you take a pause? And the answer is definitely yes. At every full stop, we should take a pause. Because that's what full stops are for, right? Full stop. Stop means pause, right? Full stop. You have to pause at every full stop. Thanks. Well, Roshni says, thank you, much appreciated, will follow your advice. So thank you so much, Roshni. I hope it really helps you out in the actual exam. Thanks for joining in. Shweta also comments, thank you. So thank you, Shweta. Well, Mirza Beg has a question. In retail lecture, if we don't understand the lecture, what shall be done? Please suggest. Well, thanks for asking the question. Well, in retail lecture, even if you don't understand the lecture, see, the thing is you have to retell the lecture. That is the first thing. Second thing is you don't need to understand everything. Just try to understand a few main words from the lecture. Because I've been following your scores on Telegram group. I know I've already recommended you to work a bit on repeat sentence and retail lecture, if I remember correctly. So in retail lecture, the main thing is note taking. You need to be really quick at taking notes. Whatever you understand, just jot it down on your sheet. Try to note down at least 15 to 20 words very neatly and clearly on your sheet. And then just try to read out those words, And yeah, you get 10 seconds before the actual beep happens. Before you have to speak, you get 10 seconds. So in those 10 seconds, just try to remember the correct sentences which came with these words. And try to repeat them while you're speaking. Generally, you'll have to be really quick at taking notes because sometimes the audio is very short. And very short audio generally means a bit of risk, So that's why we need a quick noting speed. There is no substitute to quick noting in retail lecture because we cannot predict whether the lecture is going to be short or lengthy. That's the main problem with retail lecture, in my opinion. So yeah, and you may repeat the same words again if you wish to, because you're supposed to retell the lecture. You're not supposed to understand the lecture, So try not to understand it. Try not to explain it. Don't add your own words in the answer. Just stick to the words from the audio. That's it. Well, Roshni has a comment. Thank you for suggesting not to check whether we're right or wrong in repeat sentence, as we have the tendency to correct ourselves. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And many people do it, Roshni. It's not just you. Many people know it. Do it, and I know that people do it. That's why I especially mentioned that don't check your answers in repeat sentence, because unnecessarily, first thing, we lose the motivation to practice. Second thing, it wastes a lot of time. I know it's important that we check our mistakes, but my suggestion is always record the whole practice exercise. Like, let's say you're practicing for 10 minutes, record the whole thing on the phone, and at the end of that time, just listen to everything again, Question, your answer. Listen to the audio, your answer which you've recorded on your phone or your recording device. That way, it's pretty easy to understand, which type of mistakes you're making. I always tell everybody that, instead of practicing and working so hard, just practice for a short time and take enough time to understand the mistakes, If the analysis part is good, then obviously you will not repeat the mistakes. Sometimes it takes a lot of time in finding out one small mistake, but one small change can change the whole score. So it's very important that we spend enough time on ourselves in finding where we need to improve, Just a bit of introspection can give a lot of, beautiful results out there. So that's the main thing. Well, looking for more comments, yes. Prakash has commented, thanks MC, will follow and comment soon afterwards. Thank you Prakash. Well, Shweta has a comment, in retail lecture, should we speak on keywords only or a sentence structure is also required? Well, obviously the answer is you cannot speak just the keywords from the lecture, you know. I mean, you can try, but that could be a bit risky in the actual exam according to me. So better is, yes, some sentence structure you might need. So many times what people do, people follow a template, but then people forget that if you use a template, you can't fit in a lot of words from the audio. So if you're going to use a template, just be a bit smart about it. Now, many times people also ask, like, can we keep exactly the same sentences as in the lecture? You know, sometimes people are really good at taking notes. Sometimes people are really fluent at speaking and they don't have any pauses like when they speak. So if you can manage to do that, then obviously you can do that as well. That's wonderful. You'll be very fluent. You'll take the right pauses. And if you're fluent, if you take the right pauses, if your content is clear, you always get a full score in everything. Speaking, listening, both you get 90 out of 90 always. So you can do that. I mean, if you're going to speak, pick up just keywords, just see that you form something around those keywords, you know. Just keyword can get you 90, but it's a bit risky, you know, because people don't know when to take the right pauses. If you don't take the right pauses, then everything goes down in PT. Generally, that's how the software works. So be very careful in case you're going to pick up just the keywords. Thanks. Okay, Renuka says, thank you so much. I was always confused with the speed. People said try to finish it in one shot, but now I have all the tips about speaking. Thanks again for your advice. Really appreciate it. So thank you so much, Renuka. Yeah, so generally what I recommend is don't follow everything you hear around you, right? People have an opinion on everything these days, you know, whether they know it, whether they don't know it, they just want to share their own opinion. Sometimes they're right, but many times they're not right. So just follow what somebody who has done PT, who knows PT in and out, is saying. So thank you for your comment. Really appreciate your comment. Thank you, Renuka. Well, Mirza says, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you. Well, Bidur Shrestha has a comment. Bidur, good to see you over here. I think you're commenting for the first time. Thank you for joining in. Well, his question is, how do we speak in retail? Fast or slow? Well, in retail, I always say don't be too fast, my friend, because if you're too fast, it will not be clear. And if you're not clear, what is the point of taking the test, right? So again, yeah, the other thing is we cannot be too slow as well. You know, if I speak like this, the speaker is talking about vitamin D. From the lecture, I can hear about vitamin D. From the lecture, I also heard about angels and demons. The speaker was talking about a concept which I could hardly understand. Now, this speed at which I'm speaking is a bit slow. And if I'm a bit slow, the score unfortunately goes down, because fluency means you have to speak at a certain speed, you know. If you don't have the right speed, the score goes down. So don't be too fast, don't be too slow, just speak naturally. Like this speed at which I'm speaking right now is very clear for the software to understand. Every word I say will be very clear. It will be captured very easily by the software. And as you can see, every word I speak, I open my mouth a bit more, you know. It's not as if I'm not opening my lips. If I speak like this, it's very unclear. If I cannot understand, how will the software understand, you know? So open the mouth more when you speak. Don't stress on the words, but open the mouth more. Open the jaws a bit more. The pronunciation will be very clear. Thank you. Well, Ronak has a comment. Writing essay template using. Possible, sir? Yes, possible, sir. Definitely possible. But just see that you use a good template. If the template is not good, then everything is not possible, sir. So please use a good template, all right? Otherwise, it could be a problem. Thanks. Well, Aprajita has a comment. I heard in one of the professional PT coaches that thinking sounds are okay as they could be judged native live. Please advise, as most of your videos suggest to avoid it. So Aprajita, I'll be grateful if you can comment like, what do you mean by thinking sounds? I don't understand what you mean by the word thinking sounds, you know, I don't understand. So if you can just comment, that'll be great. Then I can, you know, make it a bit clear what I mean about what you say. Well, Tanvar Vivek has a comment. Can we add quotations to support our understanding of RTL or SST? No, you cannot add quotations because you have to retell the lecture which is spoken. You have to summarize the text. You know, you have to summarize the spoken lecture in a text form. So basically, you're not supposed to add your own comments. You're not supposed to add quotes or your own ideas. It has to be from the lecture. All right, so please don't add your own quotes. Thank you. Oh, so Aprajita means sounds like So yeah, actually native sounds are considered to be sounds like but I would highly recommend not to make such sounds. I mean, make them at your own risk, but according to me, they should not be done. Because when native speakers do it, they sound a bit different the way they say it, and when non-native speakers make such sounds, they don't sound the same as native speakers do. All right, so my suggestion is avoid making sounds like Don't do that. Don't do that. Thank you. Well, Shilpa has a comment. Is it mandatory to give a conclusion in retail lecture? No, Shilpa, it is not mandatory. If you can conclude it, it's okay. If you don't conclude, according to me, it's okay. I mean, it's just about retelling a lecture. It's not about understanding it at all. So honestly, it's okay if you retell, okay if you don't retell, your decision. Doesn't matter. Thank you. Well, Mittal has a comment. Girls should speak with a heavy voice in all speaking modules. Is it true? Well, depends on the voice. No, all girls don't have to speak with a heavy voice, and it can be counterproductive. Sometimes you already have a good voice. You just need to set your actual volume. If you're a bit loud, everything is fine. If you're a bit low, sometimes everything is fine. So no, everybody should not speak with a heavy or a thick voice. It's not recommended or mandatory for everyone. All right, thank you, Mittal. Well, Tanwar has a comment. Thank you. Any app to practice for pronunciation and spelling? Well, for pronunciation, I don't know of any app. I'm sorry. And for spelling, well, you can write in any word processor like Microsoft Word, or you can also use something like Word Counter. There's a website called Word Counter. I think I spelled it correctly. So just Google it, Word, Counter. I think the first website which you get is going to give you a spell check as well. So that's about it. And for pronunciation, I would suggest there's no need of any app, to be honest. Just be very clear, just be careful with s and sh sounds. Similarly, be clear with z and j sounds. Like many times people say business. Now it's not business, it's business, right? Similarly, just be clear with plosives. So mainly the words, like higher, lower, clear. Like I will be absolutely incorrect in my pronunciation if I say clear. That's wrong, right? It should not be clear. It should be clear. Similarly, it shouldn't be higher, lower. It should be higher, lower. So the R sounds at the end of the words, you don't need to stress on those sounds, like discovery. You don't say discovery. Similarly, you don't say good morning. You say good morning. M-O-N-I-N-G. Approximately, that will be the spelling of the word which you should say. M-O-N-I-N-G. Right? Good morning, not good morning, or it should not be good morning. That's wrong. That's incorrect pronunciation. All right. So don't stress on the words unnecessarily, and automatically the score in pronunciation will improve. Well, Sanju Sharma has a comment. If we don't know the answer of answer short questions, what do we do? Well, if we don't know the answer, then it's a bit of a problem. Worst case, you just say some word which you think is the answer. It's better than keeping your mouth shut. All right, just give a short, simple, to the point answer, one word answer. Try your luck. Worst case, you're wrong. Best case, you're right. So no need to say I'm sorry. No need to say I don't know, because anyway you get 0 if you say I'm sorry or I don't know. So just give a one word answer. That would be the best in such a scenario. All right, thanks, Sanju. Well, Afsar Rahman has a question. Does content matter in DI? So the answer to your question is yes and no. I mean, you cannot just keep on speaking off the content completely, but it doesn't matter that much as well. So don't stress too much about content. It's not that important, but yes, it's a bit important, so you can't neglect it at all. For example, let's say you see a bar graph on your screen, and you just in your entire answer, let's say there's highest value of 50, there's the lowest value of 20. Now, if you just don't say these numbers, if you don't say 50, 20, all these numbers, all these words on your screen, then obviously you cannot get a good score. I mean, you can be a bit irrelevant from the content, I agree, because it's a software, it will allow you, it will give you a benefit of doubt. But if you're completely off the chart, if you speak everything which is not on the screen, then obviously it's going to be a bit of a problem. So I would avoid doing that. Just try to read out a few words, a few numbers on the screen. But yes, content is not that important, but it is a bit important. All right, thank you. Well, one more comment from Eddie and G. Adiola. Sir, for heavy sound for female, what is good pitch range that we can have? Well, ma'am, I really don't know the answer to your question. I really don't know. I mean, there are certain apps available online, which I'm sure you know, because these apps are, preferred by many tutors on PT tutorials, but I don't recommend these apps because I don't recommend these apps. That I don't have any reason for not recommending, because these apps are a bit intelligent, and that's my understanding of it. So don't be too soft, don't be too hard. If your voice is from the nose, then you need to work on that voice a bit. But I would suggest you not to make your voice artificially too hard, which it isn't. It is not going to help your case. Believe me, it will not help you. So just keep your voice a bit normal, not too soft, not too hard. Keep, the middle ground is always the best. Well, Shweta has a comment. If we don't know the answer in answer short question, can we repeat the question itself? Yes, you can, if you remember the question. But I think that again is not a very smart thing to do. Instead of repeating the whole question again, you may repeat maybe one word from the question. I mean, the whole question again, why will you want to repeat it? Doesn't make sense to me. Instead of that, instead of not knowing the answer, I mean, if you don't know the answer, I can understand. Like, let's say there's a question like, what do you call the study of cancer? So the answer is oncology. Now, if that is a question, I will say something like cancer study, Instead of saying, what do you call the study of cancer? What do you call the study of cancer? Doesn't make much sense. So just repeat maybe one or two words from the question, Sometimes if you're a bit lucky, you might get the right answer. But if you say the whole thing again, no. The software very clearly expects one or two words only, or one or a few words in the answer. The more you speak, the more unclear it will be. So should not do that in the test. Thank you. Well, Vivek has a comment. Apart from content, what should we include or take care when you describe the image? Well, apart from the content, it's the way you speak. So mainly try to be a bit fluent. Don't be too slow or don't be too fast. And always try to take the correct pauses. If there are a lot of pauses, or if there are no pauses, the score always goes down. Alright, so again, then it's going to be a big problem in getting the score. Well, I think I've answered all the comments, lot of comments, which is a good thing, and I'm really happy when I answer the comments. Well, one more thing, just today itself, 3 more students of mine have got 8 each. So in the month of July, a lot of students have been getting 8 each, which is a good thing, which is a very, very good thing. And I think around 10 people have got 8 each, and 2 have got 90 as well in the month of July itself, which is an excellent start to the month of July. So I hope in the coming days, many more students will be getting 8 each as well, many more from the Telegram group as well. And yes, my next masterclass for all those of you who are in Melbourne is on 20th of July. That's a Saturday. The fees for the Melbourne masterclass is $220. 20th of July, that's a Saturday. The other thing is that I say it in every of my videos in the last few videos that since I'm in Melbourne CBD, and to give more advantage to the people who work in the city or who come to the city for their work or who study in the city, we have just started a new center in Melbourne CBD itself. Both the centers are very close to one another. So now we have got 2 locations in Melbourne CBD. One is on 290 Collins Street. That's the main headquarters of Aussies Group Australia. 290 Collins Street, that's in Melbourne. And the other new center which I am taking care of is 7-9 Elizabeth Street. It's level 1, 7-9 Elizabeth Street. It is just next to McDonald's. As soon as you get out of Flinders Street Station, diagonally opposite on your left hand side, you will see a big McDonald's. So this center is just out there next to it. So till the next video, I'll have my live session again very soon. It's going to be this Friday. So after 4 days, be ready for another live session from me, and just jot down all your questions that you have. I'll try my best to answer all the questions as quickly as I can. So till then, just keep practicing from PT Tutorials app. Just follow the Telegram group. We have to try our best always to help everybody who are on the group. So till then, signing off. Thank you so much. My name is Malcolm. Think PT Tutorials. Thank you.